are the experienced, most prominent journalist in our country.
You're saying it's inadvertent.
What more a person can say?
Sir, you're sure. So you're saying it's inadvertent. You're saying it's inadvertent, but it is a self goal. But you've embarrassed yourself and the. Sir, but the fact is that you've got to be careful. The journalist himself warned you. This is not the right word to use. So, I mean, in a way, Adhir, this is not the first time you got yourself in trouble. Earlier also for dragging into a parliament debate, United Nations on Kashmir. There was a tweet in the month of May where you used a reference to 1984 anti-Sikh riots and Rajiv Gandhi's statement. So, it seems that, Adhir, this is a problem. You've got to be more careful.
See, the fact is, immediately after uttering the reference, I tried to find out that particular media person, but at that time I had not found him out, and immediately, factually, a few minutes later, I was nabbed by the police also, and I was lodged in the police custody. So how can I find out the person? And at the night also I tried hard to get in touch with the concerned media person. Again, I have been failed.
Sir, the NCW has issued a summons to you. Are you going to respond to the summons?
See,
the NCW, Adhir, has issued a summons to you.
Sardesai, you have referred. See, Rajivji, before that, you have referred Kashmir, etc., etc. I fail to, understand your questions. So I also fail to make any reply to you. I do not know what were the questions you have asked to me in regard to Kashmir and etc., etc. You have warned me.
My limited point is that you are being Adhir, all I am saying is that several of those who are critical of you are saying that Adhir is not a natural speaker in parliament. You are the leader of the Lok Sabha but not a natural speaker. You are a street fighter, you are a politician, 5-time MP. But you have to be very careful with the words you use inside parliament. Parliament is not a street akhada, so you have to be careful. You are now the leader of your party in the Lok Sabha, so every word of yours is being looked at, whether you refer to United Nations in the context of Kashmir or Rashtrapatni now.
See, in the context of Kashmir, I have referred the historical fact. There is nothing wrong of it. I can even debate on this issue. It is an historical fact. Neither you nor me can defy it. But if anybody wants to distort the version out of the context, then what can I do? So the fact remains that right now the entire political scenario is being vitiated by simply resorting the distortion of the facts. In the parliament also, outside the parliament also, so I am telling you, inadvertently, inappropriate reference I have made. Certainly I have made. But that does not mean that it is the only person, Adhir Chowdhury, has committed this kind of, slip of tongue. Our Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, who is ruling the country for twice, he is going to strike a record in the country. How many times he has committed such kind of words derogatory to the common people of our country? May I recall you, may I remind you, Beti Bachao, Beti Patao. The Beti Bachao, Beti Patao, Beti Padao, Beti Patao. Who has commented it? Who has commented it? But there is no debate on it because he is the Prime Minister. But as I am a member of Parliament who has been selected by my leader to lead my party in the Parliament. You are unnecessarily heaping up the allegation
as a result,
and that is also without rhyme or reason.
Adhir, Sonia Gandhi herself has been now targeted. She has been asked to give an apology. She apparently has made it clear that Adhir has already apologized. So I want to get it clear. What has Sonia Gandhi told you? And have you told her very clearly that you have apologized for your comments?
See, yeah, I am feeling a great mortification because for me, my leader, my respected leader, Madam Sonia Gandhi ji, has been targeted by the ruling dispensation in a very reproachable manner, in an obnoxious manner. And that is why I have been suffering from mortification, from pain and agony. If I commit any wrong, the BJP party has every right to allege me, to accuse me or punish me. I am here to bear all the consequences, to face all the music. But instead of me, unnecessarily, they are targeting Madam Sonia Gandhi. This is a mortification for me. Madam has never ever suggested us to do or commit any wrong, any unparliamentary postures. Yes, she has suggested me to write a letter to President of India, certainly, and I will be abiding by her direction, by her suggestion. Not only her suggestion, it is my peak of conscience which has propelled me to seek an appointment with her. So where lies the fault of us? Instead of me, the BJP party,
so can I ask you,
with an evil intention, in a sinister design, targeting Madam Sonia Gandhi, if they want to fight with me, most welcome, but not my leader, Madam Sonia Gandhi ji. For the decades, Madam Sonia Gandhi ji
can I
has
therefore
been the
ask you?
victim
Can I therefore
of
ask
BJP
you?
party's derogatory comments. BJP party over the decade has been accusing her in an uncivilized manner. In an uncivilized manner. Still, the caravan has been going on.
Can I therefore ask you in conclusion, as far as you are concerned, you are writing to the President explaining your position, and for you the issue is closed.
Certainly,
am I correct?
I am doing, first, yes, certainly. No, certainly, because I have already shot an appointment. If I do not find any appointment, then alternative way is to send a letter to her residence. Certainly.
Yes, but you will be more careful about the words you use in the future.
Yes, I will try to.
Now, what has happened as a result is the row over Adhir Ranjan Chowdhury's Rashtrapatni remark has meant there was another day of Parliament lost. An entire week, in fact 2 weeks of Parliament of the monsoon session have been washed out. This time, remember, there was a heated face-off only yesterday between Union Minister Smriti Irani and Congress Chief Sonia Gandhi. And as a result, no work again done this Friday. The parliamentarians, in fact, spent just 8 seconds on one session. They're even faster than Usain Bolt. Take a look, and then we'll come to the question, are these simply issues of mass distraction? Listen in.
Apologize to the nation. Maafi mango is dead say. Maafi mango Sonia Gandhi Adivasiyon se.
An off-the-cuff remark by the Congress leader of the House in Lok Sabha, Adhir Ranjan Chowdhury, addressing the President as Rashtrapatni, threatens to derail the monsoon session. A day after Union Minister Smriti Irani and Nirmala Sitharaman demanded an apology from Congress President Sonia Gandhi herself, the BJP and opposition faced off on Friday. Both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha proceedings ended in a matter of minutes, deepening the divide in Parliament, already rocked by noisy protests and repeated adjournments. The ever-widening trust deficit was evident Thursday when Smriti Irani and Sonia Gandhi got into a spat. While Sonia was asking BJP MP Rama Devi why her name was being dragged into the controversy, Smriti stepped in saying, "Ma'am, may I help you? I took your name." In response, Sonia said, don't talk to me. The short exchange led to charges of intimidation and heckling from both sides.
भाजपा के टारगेट निशाने पर है श्रीमती सोनिया गांधी जी। पहले ईडी के द्वारा उनको हरास किया गया, अब सदन के अंदर भी अमर्यादित व्यवहार उनके साथ किया जा रहा है ताकि भाजपा के ऊपर जो आला कमान शहंशाह बैठे हुए हैं वो इस प्रकार से व्यवहार से प्रसन्न होते हैं।
उस समय कोई और भी सांसद बगल में आकर के क्या है, क्या हो गया, क्या बात हो रही है, ऐसे पूछने में यू डोंट टॉक टू मी ऐसे करके दूसरे सांसद को ऑलमोस्ट थ्रेटनिंग आवाज से बात की है।
On Friday, Home Minister Amit Shah and Smriti Irani met President Draupadi Murmu. The meetings were described as courtesy calls, but were enough to set tongues wagging. Congress MP Adhir Ranjan Chowdhury has sought time to meet the President next week to personally convey his apologies. He has also written to President Draupadi Murmu apologizing. Not just inside Parliament, the BJP and opposition staged protests outside too. While Saffron Party burnt effigies of Adhir Ranjan Chowdhury, the Congress targeted Smriti Irani. 27 opposition MPs who disrupted work in Parliament demanding debate on various issues were suspended this week. They spent the week out in the open at the Gandhi statue holding a relay strike that ended Friday evening. While the stage looked set for debates on key issues like price rise and GST next week, the BJP's insistence on an apology from Sonia Gandhi now further complicates the equation. Bureau Report, India Today.
Now, as I keep saying, are these simply weapons of mass distraction? Issues that are being lost in the din. Think about it. Price rise, Agnipath, GST hike, the Hooch tragedy, the Chinese encroachments on the border, the fall in the rupee. Should these not be the issues that should be debated fair and square by our leaders? That's what I ask. Joining me now are in this clash, the war of words, an attempt to distract from real issues. Is politics tied up in personal battles? Does taking on Gandhi family get brownie points? Sudhanshu Trivedi and Supriya Srinath. To you, Sudhanshu Trivedi first. This battle, Smriti Irani versus Sonia Gandhi, is this an attempt to distract from the real issues? This country has far bigger issues, Sudhanshu ji, price rise, GST, Chinese encroachments, falling rupees. None of it has been debated in your parliament. But Sonia Gandhi apology jo do, ya BJP maafi mango. That's what's going on.
Rajdeep ji, you have raised a very valid point. The points which you have mentioned, whether it is the GST or the inflation or the unemployment, which they considered the reason is because of our government, though despite the fact this is a global phenomenon, okay. But on how many issues you have seen the Congress leaders doing demonstration on the road? On any of these issues, have you ever find all the Congress chief ministers in Delhi? No. They were there to protest when the ED has called for interrogation to Rahul Gandhi. For 3 days, Congress chief ministers were there here. All Congress MPs were here. Day before yesterday, when Parliamentary Affairs Minister has called that, yes, we are ready to find an amicable solution and we are ready to even request the chairperson to withdraw the suspension. But is there any guarantee that the opposition MPs will not create any untoward scene? Then several parties committed, but Congress leaders were not there because they were there in the demonstration about Sonia Gandhi's ED. So let me know when they have done demonstration on this. And rather than the day before yesterday in the press conference of Ashok Gehlot ji, what he has said, 1 साल पहले हमने जयपुर में महंगाई को लेकर बड़ा कार्यक्रम किया था. And Rajdeep ji, you remember, in that rally for महंगाई in Jaipur, Congress leaders mentioned UP, and Rahul Gandhi has for 10 minutes given elaborate description of Hindu versus Hindutva on a rally on price rise in Jaipur. So now you can easily conclude that who is diverting and which issue is having the real core mindset of the opposition and which is just a fig leaf cover.
Okay, let Supriya Srinath respond to what you're saying. You're claiming that the opposition also wants to simply stage protests outside Parliament on issues like the Enforcement Directorate questioning Sonia Gandhi. Supriya Srinath, you heard Sudhanshu Trivedi. You want to respond to that? That don't blame the government only for distracting from the real issues. You've been protesting over Sonia Gandhi's ED questioning when you could also only focus on price rise.
I'm actually appalled, and more than appalled, I'm shocked with what Sudhanshuji has just said. Instead of accepting that the most burning and the most relevant issue of our times is price rise, he's actually diverting the issue to what the opposition is doing on the streets. Mr. Trivedi, people are reeling under high prices, especially at a time when joblessness is at a huge peak, wages have gone down. You are saddling people with price rise even on food items. And instead of accepting and finding a solution, you want to blame us what we do in our rallies and what we do on roads. I mean, this is brazenness of different kind. But because this show is on what happened in Parliament, I do want to talk about that. Because it's important as a woman that I speak about these things. Smriti Irani puts up a very spirited defense in the name of India's president, who's India's first citizen. She keeps calling the president's name, which is unparliamentary if you ask me. And after that, she has the audacity and the disgrace to actually walk up and try and heckle and physically intimidate the Congress president, the person who remained UPA chairperson for 10 years and who's a 5 times elected MP. She has as much right to be in that house and to question perhaps a little more than you do.
No, but Smriti Irani also has the right to question Sonia Gandhi. When you say audacity to question Sonia Gandhi, she has the right also.
I am not saying for a minute she does not. No. Let me finish, Rajdeep. You offered him the courtesy, offer me the same courtesy.
Yes.
I really request you, because this is an important issue. It's also about physical heckling of a woman. She physically heckles, they physically intimidate, she tries to heckle, and we are not saying this. There are others across party lines who have witnessed this, people who have come on record to say what happened in Parliament today. If you ask me, it was perhaps the lowest our democracy can stoop to, where the leader of an opposition party is heckled by members of the treasury benches. And what was in this name of? This was in the name of a woman president. I want to ask Smriti Irani only 2 questions this evening. She is very close to a gentleman who goes by the name of Ankit Jain, and I have just tweeted. She has posted pictures with him. They are in conversation all the time on Twitter. That man called President Patil Rashtrapatni. Why did we not see Smriti Irani rise up and defend the president as much as she defended and created theatrics? I also want to talk about women, because as a woman it's my responsibility to first talk about the dignity and grace of women. Anybody who knows Sonia Gandhi now in public life for close to over 4 decades knows the grace and dignity with which she carries herself. Anybody will tell you she would never stoop to the level that Smriti Irani can. But 40 seconds is all that I ask you to play a soundbite, because we are talking about the respect and dignity of women. I do hope that you will indulge me.
Ma'am.
Sorry, just give me a minute. I want to play this bite. It's important.
No, you are referring to Narendra Modi calling the late Sunanda Tharoor a 50 crore girlfriend. You are referring to what he said during the 2014 election campaign. Ma'am, you don't need to play that. We've heard it before. We've heard it before, ma'am. We've heard it.
To play that, I'll tell you why. Because people of this country need to know. 1 second. I need to play that because people of this country know. I can understand a slip of tongue by the Prime Minister when he said Beti Bachao, Beti Patao. I give him the benefit of doubt. I never raised a question. But on this, I will raise a question, because he stands in the public rally, calls a wife 50 crore ki girlfriend, calls the Congress president Congress ki vidwa, calls the member of parliament Renuka Chaudhary Shupnakha, the kind of things his MPs, his ministers have said on women, he should first apologize to this country.
Okay.
I also want to know,
No,
the
you've now-
BJP vice president in Meghalaya has been found to be running a brothel. Is there an explanation that has come from the BJP?
Okay.
I want to ask this question. It makes me angry. We talk about the dignity of women. We should talk about every woman on this country.
Okay.
Adhir Ranjan Chowdhury had a slip of tongue. I am glad he had apologized. If he had not, I would never defend him. But
Okay,
because
good.
he apologized a long time back. He said it was a
Ma'am,
slip of tongue.
now
I'm
you
not
are
a
taking
Hindi
over the
speaking
show.
person.
Now I
I
think,
wasn't
ma'am,
very
you
fluent.
made your point. You made your point. You made it strongly. Sudhanshu
No, I'm
Trivedi.
not.
No,
I'm
Sudhanshu.
not taking over the show.
Okay,
I am only responding to cheap theatrics. I don't think Parliament is a place for cheap theatrics and heckling of parliamentarians.
Okay.
What happened with Mrs. Gandhi yesterday has been condemned by the entire opposition. And I think Sudhanshu Trivedi, as a member of that august house, which is called the upper house, should condemn it. There
Okay,
can
you
be no
made your
heckling,
point.
there should be no physical intimidation.
Supriya Shrinate, you made the point now several times
Sudhanshu
over.
ji,
No,
chalega,
don't
hath
take.
mein rakhe bolega.
Sudhanshu
Aap
Trivedi
heckling ko
is
support
one of the
karte hain?
more.
I want to ask.
Ma'am, just a minute now. Sudhanshu Trivedi is one of the more decent politicians we have. Someone who doesn't intervene, doesn't raise his voice in TV debates. He deserves a chance to respond to what you said. Sudhanshu Trivedi, you've heard Supriya Shrinate saying that who is the BJP or who are your leaders to target Sonia Gandhi through what she calls cheap theatrics. They must answer the comments they have made over the years about women, about Sonia Gandhi.
Rajdeep ji, you have seen that Supriya ji has taken so many issues here by round and other instead of answering the specific question. Just before we started the debate, Mr. Adhir Ranjan Chowdhury was on your channel. Sir, I will ask the million of viewers to see. In his interview, even an iota of remorse, even an iota of apology, rather than in every sentence there was an allegation and they are saying that he has apologized. Even you categorically asked that are you going to meet President for apology? What he has answered?
He has
I
now
have
written a
asked for the
letter.
appointment.
He has now
He has
written a
not said
formal
that I am
letter.
apologizing.
He now says he has written
That's
a
why-
formal letter of apology.
Now coming to the other point. Now coming to that point, it's not the question of one person. Like anybody can have any right to have any allegation on any leader. What Smriti Irani ji has done? She has just stood in the house and asked a question. And if somebody thinks that there is a problem with any word or anything else, there is a matter and procedure in the parliament. असंसदीय भाषाओं की शब्दावली 1954 से 2010 से you can point out that this word was unparliamentary, this action was unparliamentary, but unfortunately it was not there. The problem is here the issue is not one person. It is not the issue of one Srimati Draupadi Murmu ji. It is the question of the president. He should have tendered an unconditional apology. Everything would have
No, but
finished.
Supriya
And
Shrinate, Sudhanshu ji, you didn't answer my question. Supriya Shrinate is saying, sir, Supriya Shrinate is saying कि जब आप कहते हैं कांग्रेस की विधवा, जब आप कहते हैं 50 करोड़ की girlfriend, when you use these words, you can't then take the moral high ground in this particular case. Actually, Adhir Ranjan Chowdhury says slip of the tongue. These were not slip of the tongues to call someone Congress ki vidwa.
No, I'm coming to that point.
In
all those
No, ma'am, you cannot come in.
In all those statements,
No, you can't, ma'am.
Prime Minister has not taken anybody's name. No, let me complete the sentence.
Yes.
All those references which Supriya ji has given, Prime Minister has not categorically named a person and then the adjective has been spoken.
Come on now.
और आपकी तो एक महीने पुरानी बात है मोदी जी की मौत की कामना फिर मौत के प्रकार हिटलर की मौत
सुप्रिया
सॉरी टू से कुत्ते की मौत बोटी बोटी काट डालूंगा एंड फॉरगेट अबाउट द एक्शन इवन अ नोटिस हैव बीन नॉट इशूड Rajdeep, I can say with firm conviction that in the 75 years of independence, Indira Gandhi ji which had put emergency, we have never thought for उनकी मौत की कामना नहीं की कभी उनके मौत के प्रकार नहीं बचाए 100 बातों की बात कर रहा हूं ये भाव भंगिमा टुकड़े टुकड़े पोटी पोटी काट डालूंगा and that fellow was not the member of Congress. The next day Rahul Gandhi ji have gone and brought him in the Congress and made the vice president of the Congress. So just give the answer. मौत की कामना मौत के प्रकार बोटी बोटी कोई कंपैरिजन है कहीं से?
Okay, now I 1 minute, Supriya ji. We've got Sudhanshu Trivedi ji
Can I
trying to
please
defend.
come in
No,
now?
1 minute, ma'am.
Can I please come in?
No,
I
his
have a right to
argument.
respond.
Just a minute, ma'am. You've been a TV anchor. Let me ask a question. Just as the BJP is accused today of getting brownie points by targeting the Gandhi family, basically Sudhanshu Trivedi is saying those who target Mr. Modi and use kind of abusive words against him also in a way have been propped up in the Congress. So what has happened, and that's my big question, this is all personal battles. I want to discuss, this country's parliament should be discussing falling rupee, price rise, GST, China.
Sir, I am saying with firm conviction, हमने किसी नेता की मौत की कामना की हो तो बताएं.
Okay.
I am sorry, Sudhanshu.
Be very
It is
specific.
not your turn to speak.
Okay. Now
you cannot shout your way through this.
Pledged
This
for
is
a
not your way
debt
to
and the
speak.
type of debt and the
I will now
कुत्ते की
come in and
मौत.
make
Okay,
my point.
okay, you made
You
the
are
point,
not going to
Sudhanshu ji.
shout through
Okay,
the
now
voice.
Supriya
You
ji,
cannot
Supriya ji,
shout
respond
me.
now.
This is not on.
Supriya ji, respond.
This is not on.
Respond, please.
I have a simple thing to say. If I always thought that Sudhanshu Trivedi is the better of the BJP lot, he will not resort to theatrics. He is turning around and defending the Prime Minister's atrocious abdominal responses to women in public life and otherwise by saying he did not name them. Did he not mean Sunanda Pushkar? Did he not call Sonia Gandhi Jersey guy? Did he not call her Congress ki vidwa, a widow being called Congress ki vidwa? What are you talking about? You should be ashamed to even defend that statement. I would have respected you if you had deflected that remark. The fact that you are defending it, I'm sorry, I have lost all respect for you tonight. But I am going to take this decision forward. Mani Shankar Iyer said something about the Prime Minister which was not acceptable to the party. He was suspended with immediate effect. How many people in the BJP are being suspended? And I want to go back and ask Smriti Irani. I have put out an information in the public domain. Somebody close to him called President Pratibha Patil Rashtrapatni. Is she going to show me the same vigor by attacking that gentleman?
We have two very aggressive spokespersons today.
She's not going to be able to do that.
I want to leave it there.
One thing. No, Rajdeep. This is not about Smriti Irani. This is not about Sonia Ji alone. This is about why India's parliament has been relegated to theatrics by the BJP. Because they want to run away from real issues. Issues like price rise, issues like unemployment.
But you are also falling into the trap by then
want to run away.
Okay, but you are also falling into the trap in a way by asking Smriti Irani to apologize. Okay, you made your point. I want producer 30 seconds finally to Sudhanshu. Just 30 seconds, Sudhanshu.
Just 30 seconds. Rajdeep ji, forget about the allegations on person, leaders and others. There are 3 crimes which the Congress has done in the 75 years of independence. For them, they have not apologized. Number 1, in the 30th year, they have used the word India is Indra and Indra is India. The entire country is equated to leader. And that by the Congress, then President D.K. Barua, they have not yet apologized. And 60th year of independence, they have said Ram doesn't exist. Mahatma Gandhi ki समाधि पर लिखा नाम झूठा था. In the 75th year of independence, they have said the president के लिए राष्ट्रपति.
I think both of you, all of you need, sir, at this rate, we need serial apologies. No. Sir, Sudhanshu ji, calling someone a 50 crore, sir,
what democracy?
No,
you
producer.
are presiding over the death of democracy in this country.
Okay, I want to just...
I
am going to, producer, I have to stop this because I keep saying news without the noise. I appreciate and both of you are very good spokesperson, but I want to say this. Calling someone Congress ki vidwa, 50 crore girlfriend, comments not to be made. Saying boti kar denge, suggesting that you will, that someone should be killed, not acceptable. Raise the level of public discourse for God's sake. This is an appeal to both, particularly the ruling party, because it is their responsibility to run parliament. And I hope that next week at least issues like price rise, falling rupee, GST and also China can be discussed. I appreciate both of you joining us though on the show tonight. Let's turn from there to tonight's ground report, and it comes from Karnataka, where it is clear that the death of a Yuva BJP Morcha worker ahead of election next year has now become a major issue. Chief Minister Basavarao Bommai has gone to the extent of saying now he will borrow from Yogi's playbook in UP to teach the murderers of the BJP Yuva Morcha leader a lesson. Take a look.
Whatever is necessary within the frame of law, we will do all actions. It might be UP model or Karnataka model.
CM Basavaraj Bommai is feeling the heat from within the Sangh Parivar over the murder of Yuva Morcha leader Praveen Netaru in Dakshina Kannada. From targeting state BJP chief to threats of mass resignations, BJP workers are demanding the government crack down on the Popular Front of India and allied outfits who they blame for Praveen's death. Pushed to the corner by his own party men, Bommai is now hinting at importing the Yogi model of enforcing law and order from UP. He has already said the NIA will investigate Praveen's death.
As and when required, whatever is necessary within the frame of law, we will do all actions. It might be UP model or Karnataka model.
Bommai's statement has prompted sharp reactions from the opposition.
ಏನು ಯೋಗಿ ಏನು ದೊಡ್ಡ ಇದೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋದ್ರೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾವ್ರು ಯೋಗಿ ಅಂತ ಏನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತದೆ ನಾನು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಚರ್ಚೆ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ ಬುಲ್ಡೋಸರ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೇನು ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡವ್ರೆ ಯಾರ್ಯಾರು ಹಣ ಬರಗಳು ಏನಾಗಿದೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ನಾನೀಗ ಚರ್ಚೆ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ ಆದರೆ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತಿ ತಂದರೆ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಬಿಜೆಪಿ ಬುಡು ಸಮೇತ ಕಿತ್ತು ಈ ನಾಡಿನ ಜನತೆ ಕಿತ್ತೆಸಿದ್ದಾರೆ.
It's such a shame that one of the most progressive states is now being compared to UP and Bihar. See, there is no question of Yogi or Gujarat model of development here. We have our own model, and the UP model or Yogi model, whatever you want to call it, will not work here, and we will not allow it to work here.
The PFI, the radical Islamic group being linked to Praveen's murder, has lashed out at CM Bommai.
The statement of the Chief Minister of Karnataka regarding implementing something called as the Yogi model in Karnataka is nothing but signs of him trying to appease the Sangh Parivar and appease the Sangh Parivar workers. That is the reason we see that at a time when the Chief Minister should talk about peace and harmony, he is trying to please the Sangh Parivar with such statement.
Dakshina Kannada district is on the edge after 3 murders in 8 days. The latest is the killing of 23-year-old Fazil in Suratkal. CCTV footage has emerged that shows Fazil being hacked to death with machetes by an unidentified group. Police say the motive behind the incident and the identity of the culprits are being investigated. Prohibitory orders have been imposed in many parts of Dakshina district. Bureau Report, India Today.
Okay, it's Friday night, so let's switch off politics for a moment and focus on an issue which I love, sport. Because it's not just me, Tamil Nadu and the country is excited about the 44th Chess Olympiad, which was inaugurated last night by the Prime Minister. Chess boards can now be witnessed everywhere across Chennai. In a moment, I'll be joined by the king of them all, Viswanathan. Anand is waiting for us. But Vishi, first let's play what Chennai is seeing at the moment. Take a look.
Tamil Nadu is going bonkers over a game considered too intellectual to have a mass following. Mahabalipuram, which is hosting the 44th Chess Olympiad, has been painted black and white. There are chess boards everywhere, from the iconic Napier's Bridge in Chennai to schools where students are wearing face paint.
Wonderful team. It's our first, I guess it's not my first time in India, but it's some of our first time in India. We have 2 of our girls are representing Ireland for the first time at the Olympiad.
Our team is really trying to do really well for our country, and we're sponsored by Chessable, Chess.com and Sasa Strategic Advisors, so we're very excited.
The frenzy around the board game of 64 squares is comparable to any other international event. The Chess Olympiad has got its own mascot, Tambi, a horse dressed in a traditional attire. The event got a spectacular opening ceremony that captured the attention of the country. The prestigious competition, which has been organized since 1927, is being hosted in India for the first time and in Asia after 30 years. With the participation of 187 countries, this will be the largest participation in any chess Olympiad so far. India is fielding its biggest ever contingent in the competition. Tamil Nadu has checked all the boxes. It's now the turn of chess champions to make their move.
And joining me now is a very special guest, the one and only, the king of them all, the greatest Indian chess player, multiple time world champion, Viswanathan Anand. What a moment, Anand. Those celebrations in Chennai. Explain this frenzy. What explains the frenzy for chess today in Chennai?
It's unbelievable. I mean, I couldn't have expected something on this scale. And even just a few months ago, in the beginning of February, the Olympiad was supposed to be in Moscow. Then it came up for bidding again. The Tamil Nadu government and the All India Chess Federation moved within a week to complete all the formalities, make a fully guaranteed bid, and they won the right to host the competition. Even though a competition which they would normally have between 2 to 4 years to prepare, they had to get everything ready in just a few months. And honestly, they've done spectacularly. The feedback from the players and from all the visitors is that they never expected it to be so smooth, so well organized. On top of that, there's a kind of fever building up in the city. Bridges painted in black and white, Thambi cutouts everywhere. It's amazing. I mean, Tamil Nadu has always been a chess state, the foremost chess state in the country, but this is a new level, and it simply could not have happened without the commitment of the Tamil Nadu government, and I must say the citizens of Chennai and Tamil Nadu, that they've taken this competition as their own, and they're displaying just phenomenal organization and hospitality. I'm seeing those pictures of you with MK Stalin and Narendra Modi at the inauguration yesterday. When your mother took you to play chess and introduced you to the game, did you think a day would arrive when chess would become such a big sport in India that it can be you can have an Olympiad on this scale in the country? This was very hard to anticipate. Of course, in stages, chess has been growing, but that it comes to this level that we host such a big competition right here in Chennai, that the Prime Minister and the Sports Minister fly over from Delhi for the opening ceremony, again shows the commitment of the governments in making this a big sporting event. And I think it's hard to explain. I don't think I anticipated a fraction of this, especially when I was a youngster going to play in a chess club. How much of it do you think, and I want you to be honest, has the fact that you've been the multiple world chess champion, that we've produced these grandmasters, has sort of energized the young you think to take to chess? Do you think that was the turning point, Viswanathan Anand becoming world champion? I know that's not easy for you to answer, but that's the sense I get. You becoming world champion made a huge difference. Yes, it did. Definitely the first time I won it in 2000, and then the second time when I won it in 2007 and held the title till 2013. It has an impact. People like to follow, a local son, a local hero, and given the fact that I had won so many matches and won the title 5 times, it must have had an impact. I mean, it kept chess in the news. We now have 36% of all the grandmasters in India. And again, I'll state, we have a second wave coming, all our youngsters. Most of the India B team is in fact our most promising youngsters, both from Tamil Nadu and from India. So we have a youth wave as well hitting here. Our women's ranked team is the number 1 ranked in the competition. We are not just great organizers this time. We're also serious competitors for medals in both competitions. So that's just very, very exciting to be part of.
You know, I didn't know that fact. 36% of the grandmasters in the world are from India. Wow, that's phenomenal. Just to end, Vishy, your role, I believe you are playing a role in the shadows, training the team or guiding them in some way. Is that the role you're playing in this Olympiad primarily, quite apart from being this sort of brand ambassador in a way?
Yes, luckily I've recently started to work with all these, many of our youngsters. I keep in touch with all my colleagues, of course. So we've been interacting. They know that if they want to reach out for any advice or anything, that I'm here. We discuss chess quite often. And yes, I interact with not only the players but also the coaches. We're all old friends getting together, and that's made things very, very smooth between us.
You know, Vishy, looking at those pictures, as I said, it's been a very special moment. And I think, as I keep reiterating, you're becoming world champion, breaking the monopoly of the Russians in particular, made a huge difference. So salute to you and to the people of Chennai that we are seeing this moment in Indian sport, chess becoming so big. And thank you for all that you've done for the game.
Thank you so much for having me. Pleasure to talk to you.
Thanks, Vishy. Always a pleasure talking to you. One of the greats, legends of Indian sport. These are the icons who've changed the way the sport is viewed in the 21st century. So thanks very much. Okay, from Vanakkam Chennai, in a way, let's take a break, because on the other side, there's more of Chennai. It's a good news story, more good news. And it comes again from Chennai. You're watching the news today. News without the noise.
I don't read the news. I read between the lines to tell you the true version of events, the true story of our times.
To document grief, the toughest assignment for any journalist to be.
From those who matter,
Women politicians going to stick up for each other.
Of those who should matter, I document the truth. I don't distort the truth. I don't glamorize the truth. I don't gloss over the truth.
The ghosts of India's contentious medieval history have come knocking again.
I hustle for the truth, on the ground, in the newsroom, in the studio. I don't try to grab eyeballs.
I inform you to make you see the point.
To the Point with Preeti Chaudhary. At these times, only on India Today.
DigiYatra is going to be implemented in India from 31st August. It will allow passengers to catch their flight quickly if they are in a hurry. So basically, the DigiYatra allows facial recognition technology or biometric-based digital processing of passengers done at the airport. It will be functional at the airports of 7 states: Delhi, Bengaluru, Hyderabad, Varanasi, Vijayawada, Kolkata and Pune. They would not have to provide their identity cards or boarding pass at different checkpoints, including the entry, security checks, and the aircraft boarding. It will also facilitate a self-backdrop. The initiative is expected to be a paperless, centralized registration system. The government ID repositories, airport security systems, and airline back-end network would be integrated together. A mobile application will also be launched by the Ministry of Civil Aviation. DigiYatra application will share the ticket details and the facial data. The airport will be equipped with the biometric camera-based e-gates. Although the scheme is going to make traveling very easy, there are certain loopholes that passengers may not like. According to the Internet Freedom Foundation, there would be privacy risks with features like facial recognition for check-ins and data recall.
Welcome back. Friday night, and let me leave you with a final good news story. A 70-year-old Raj Gopal has proved that age is just a number. P. Rajgopal graduated as a PhD scholar today at Anna University's convocation. Rajgopal used to drop his daughter to college every day, and those regular visits inspired him to continue his studies, and it took him almost 8 years to achieve the feat. So he's one of the oldest PhDs in the country. Listen in to him today.
Yeah, it is a very great occasion, and I'm really proud of having this degree certificate. 8 years is the fixed time, but even if it is running for 16 years, I would really like to do it. There is no time period for doing the research, as well as absolutely there is no restriction for the age, as long as the system permits. You can do research, and your thinking and your aspiration.
Okay, that's our. We wish him well. We wish all of you well. It's Friday night. Have a great weekend. Stay well, stay safe. Good night. Shubhratri. We'll be back Monday with more news. Hopefully without the noise, but with knowledge. Thanks for watching. Namaskar.
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices.
You are watching India Today.
With every sunrise comes new beginnings, new opportunities and new stories. And that's why we're first up. While you're sleeping, we're hard at work to ensure you get the perfect news shot every morning. Get you all the updates. Our morning mission to get you news that's fresh and packed with flavor. Watch First Up every weekday morning with me, Akshata Nandagopal, right here on India Today.
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices.
Presented by Green Lamb Laminates, Har Gustakhi Saaf. Co-powered by HDFC Bank Parivartan, a step towards sustainable progress. In association with Hetic Fittings, make your furniture work beautifully. Offer pe offer, sirf Kalyan Jewellers mein. Wing Commander Mohit Rana, Flight Lieutenant Aditya Bal, two young and promising IAF pilots, killed in a tragic MiG-21 crash. Families inconsolable. +400 MiG-21s crashed in 5 decades. Over 200 pilots and 50 civilians killed. Why is MiG-21 still in the skies?
Wing Commander Mohit Rana, Flight Lieutenant Aditya Bal, two young Indian Air Force pilots who met their end in a tragic MiG-21 fighter aircraft crash in Rajasthan's Barmer on Thursday night. Their families, as you can imagine, are devastated, and the nation is in mourning for these two young lives. The Indian Air Force has ordered a court of inquiry to ascertain the cause of the accident. But India is exploding with angry questions about why the MiG-21 is still in service. First, what happened? Wing Commander Mohit Rana, 36 years old. Flight Lieutenant Aditya Bal, 26 years old. Two young Indian Air Force fighter pilots tragically killed in a MiG-21 crash on Thursday night in Rajasthan. Hailing from Mandi, Himachal Pradesh, Mohit was flight commander at his fighter squadron. A passionate combat aviator, he was on the threshold of greater things, including command of a squadron in the future. The younger of the two pilots, Aditya, had joined the squadron just a few weeks ago. His final flight was a training sortie with his senior.
हम भर्ती इसलिए होती है कि हम दुश्मन से लड़ें और उनको मारें, ना कि अपने वेपन से ही हम खुद कैजुअल्टी हो जाएं। और मैं भारत सरकार से यही अपील करता हूं, प्लीज़ सर, ये MiG-21 अब सर बंद कीजिए। इन गरीब बच्चों की और जान मत लीजिए सर। मेरी यही आगे उनके आगे अपील है सर, बंद कीजिए सर प्लीज़।
It is not known yet why their MiG-21 crashed into the ground near Barmer.